Welcome to some new r/malicious compliance stories, where people comply to the letter, but not the spirit of a request. I hope you had a great day. Thanks for all the likes and comments on the last video. If you would like to support this channel, please hit the like button and consider subscribing if you enjoy the content. And now, let's start with the first story. It's called It's Too Hot. I work on HVAC controls and building automation. I was called over to our lab building to look at something that somebody didn't know how it worked, so they naturally assumed it was a control problem. As I stood in the hallway and explained to the building manager what the real issue is, a professor stepped out of his office and asked if we are the maintenance guys. He said his lab is too hot. The building manager politely gestured for me to assist the professor, since I am responsible for the HVAC. This is pretty annoying for me, because I am supposed to work off of tickets assigned by my dispatcher, rather than just doing random jobs for people that pull me aside. I don't want to be rude, so I put a smile on my face and walk into this hot lab. He shows me the thermostat, which is displaying 72 degrees, the normal set point across campus. 72 is the hard limit we set in all offices and labs to conserve energy. A lot of people try to come up with reasons to get it lowered. Things like their doctor told them they need it lowered for health reasons, or they strain muscles easily, or other weird stuff that ultimately never works in the long run. I tell this guy I can't change the set point lower than 72 due to the standards set by the campus. He then takes me to his other lab, which he says is working normally. He takes me to the adjacent lab next door, which is connected to this one through a set of double doors. This adjacent lab was cold, 75 degrees. He shows me the thermostat. It reads 75. I show him that the set point is actually 72. I tell him that it was cold because there's a problem with the system, and I now needed to fix it. He looks at me like he just realized his whole reality just got flipped upside down. I tell him if he needs the set point lower than 72, he needs to email the energy manager and request an exemption. The mechanics fixed the problem with the reheat coil, and both rooms are maintaining 72 degrees. After lunch, I check my phone for any new work orders. There's one for the same room. I open it up, and the professor wrote in the description of the problem, "Room needs to be 68 due to sensitive and expensive equipment. The previous technician did not fix the problem." I closed the ticket and put in the notes, "Please email the energy manager to request an exemption as I explained earlier." Ticket closed. The next story is called She Thinks She Is the Boss. I am a mail carrier. I was filling in on another carrier's route one day. On this route is a small business owned by a Karen. Karen ships items with us, FedEx and UPS, whatever her customer prefers. This is understandable. Customer wants, customer gets. The full-time carrier on this route has left notes for anyone filling in, and as a reminder to himself. We should check each item outgoing, because Karen apparently has no idea that the USPS, FedEx and UPS are entirely separate entities. She will just put all of her outgoing packages in one big pile. I see the note to check, and I do. Mixed in with the stuff for USPS are two small packages that are next day air for FedEx. So I take them out and put them aside for the FedEx guy. Karen sees this. Karen is upset by this. So I explain to her that while we do have a system in place to get FedEx items back to FedEx, it will only slow the items down and likely cause her customers to not receive them on time. Karen listens to all this, fumes silently for a few seconds and says, "I demand you take these packages. It does not matter that she is wrong. She is in charge, and I will do as she says." I stare at her for an equal amount of time, conscious of the fact that my hat, jacket, shirt and bag all bear the logo of the United States Postal Service and not FedEx, waiting for the punchline. As it turns out, Karen is the punchline, so I explain again, using very small words, that I would be doing her and her customers a disservice by taking those packages. She tells me she'll have my job, showing that she has no idea how union workplaces function, and issues her demand again. To which I say no, take the packages and letters with proper postage and continue upon the route. 15 minutes later, I get a call from my supervisor. Karen has called to complain that I would not take the outgoing packages. I tell my supervisor that I have 7 parcel pickups from her and only left behind the stuff that wasn't ours. Supervisor says, "Oh, okay," and I figure that is the end of it. I get back to the office that evening and several of the clerks and the supervisor are laughing. Unsatisfied by the supervisor's reiteration of the fact that the United States Postal Service is not Federal Express, Karen has come in. She wanted to lodge her complaint in person and demand, again, that we handle her FedEx packages. Upon being told no, she launched into a screaming fit. She left us gazing Google Maps review of that particular post office, then stormed out, leaving behind the 2 packages in question. They sat on a shelf for a week before a FedEx employee came to pick them up. After, I am told, she called that post office and demanded a refund because it was not delivered on time. The last story is called No Personal Devices. I was an IT contractor, working for a very large consultancy on our client side as part of their telephony data warehouse implementation team. I arrived on day 1 and was immediately shrugged off by the project manager. This guy had spent a lot of time schmoozing me, and to receive a cold shoulder when I arrived showed what kind of outfit this was. I should have known, I had encountered them in previous projects, but never direct. A colleague, more senior, took me to complete a training session. It consisted of a 10-minute PowerPoint on security, a 10-minute crash course on the project, and a 2-hour knowledge transfer on my deliverables. Being somewhat professional, I brought my personal laptop to handle the first few days, knowing that IT in these organizations can be a little slow. The first slide said, no personal devices may be used to hold or process client data. Fine, not a problem. I could work on the client's SharePoint, just using the laptop for access until mine arrived. My personal credentials were given permission to access the working directories. Fast forward 5 months and 3 weeks. I'm about to exit the project. The PM calls me aside and hands me the most beaten up pile of junk laptop I have ever seen. Here's your laptop. Sorry it's late. You need to work from this from now on. This thing had maybe 9 keys attached and sounded like a Rolls-Royce Trent engine on takeoff. It was useless. I booted up the pile of junk I had been handed, and no access to the documents I had created. I asked the PM again. No, he said, no personal devices. Consider yourself lucky, not everyone gets a laptop this nice. So I sat there for 2 more weeks, waiting for the IT team to give me editor access to the documents I had spent 6 months putting together. After I left, I deleted any local copies from my personal device and deleted the user IDs from my own domain. I was told by a colleague in the project team that the IT team had managed to delete the documents and tried to reach out to get local copies. By then I had handed the junk laptop back. And remember, no personal devices. And with that, we end today's video. Let me know what you think about the stories. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate the stories in today's video? I hope you enjoyed the video. If you like what I do and want to support me, please subscribe and hit the like button. I hope you have a great day. Stay safe. Bye bye.